Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. This is Essential Patience and I am Patience. And in today's video we are talking about making the life of a student easier. So I just started grad school and I'm going through it. However, I just wanted to share some of the supplies that made my undergrad and is making my graduate school journey much easier. Now, these are things that, in my opinion, just takes off a little bit of burden when it comes to being organized, staying organized, which is really hard to do, and just sharing the ways that I set myself up for success, and had done that during my undergrad and during my previous education as well, but especially doing that now and how it's helping me to stay current in my schoolwork, because I am working full-time and that's a lot on my plate. I'm trying my best to balance it, and here are some supplies that help me stay balanced as much as possible. So the first one is a graph book or graph paper. So you can get the loose leaf version or you can get a graph book. And this became a game changer for me during my senior year of college. And here's why. I'm an engineer and I'm studying engineering for my master's degree. There are a lot of calculations. And this is why I really feel like a lot of majors, including those that are very scientific, can benefit from using graph paper instead of the regular loose leaf paper. And I'm talking about taking notes, because the columns are smaller. Instead of having pages upon pages with the loose leaf, especially the large rule ones, I don't like them. But with graph paper, they're smaller, so you can fit a lot more on the page, and it keeps your work more organized. And so let's say for an engineer, you're doing calculations, and a lot of these calculations, especially if you're doing derivatives, circuit theory, it includes drawing. And so when you have a graph paper, graph book, it makes it easier to draw it on the paper rather than doing it on a regular loose leaf. The measurements are not there. So if you're doing a graph of, positive, negatives, or you're doing a multidimensional graph for multivariable calculus, now all of a sudden it makes it harder if you're using a regular piece of paper rather than a graph paper. And so during my senior year, I did practically all of my classes on graph paper, because it just makes it so much easier. Just smaller, more compact, keeps your work looking much neater, and it's easier when it's time to do calculations and draw. The next one is to have a small binder, not one of those huge binders, but I'm talking about a small binder that has those clips, and I'm just going to show you one that I've had since high school. This is my high school folder and the clips that I'm talking about. And the reason why you can know it's high school is obviously because I didn't have time to do this in college, but also I think I ripped it off of here. This was from 11th grade. I was taking ceramics, and one of our first assignments was to decorate our binders. So this is what it looks like, and I do have the graph papers in here. I also have some regular loose leaf, but I don't use it as much. So this is what it looks like, and the reason why I like these is because it's easy to carry and it's more compact for your classes. It's when you're in college, you're doing more of a semester base rather than a whole year of classes. It's easier to keep all of your notes in here. I prefer these, and I keep one for each class. And when I'm taking notes, I can take notes and then skip some, put the notes in here and arrange it in the order that I want it. Because let's say you miss a day, the notebook, you have to leave space to go write the notes back. But with these ones, you can just continue and then go back, write the notes, and then just clip it in the order that it's supposed to be, rather than having frustrated. At least that's something I used to get frustrated about, because I like to keep things organized. So this just helped me keep more organized. The next thing is to have highlighters, pens, and pencils. Something I don't like, because I prefer to take notes in pen because it's more permanent. I can go back to it. But I don't like doing calculations in pen. There's some people who can do that, but because I'm the type of person who's always erasing and everything, I prefer to use pencils. But I also prefer to use a combination of highlighters for definitions, just to highlight some stuff when I'm going through working. And it's good to just buy these things at the beginning of the semester and just to have them rather than to worry about them during the semester. The tiniest things that you do at the beginning of the semester or before you start class, or just the earlier you do it, the less stress that you have going into midterms and examination periods, where every little thing just seems to take priority over everything else. So you want to make sure that you do these things at the beginning of the semester, have your supplies, rather than weight on them. The next thing I want to do is have a light yet durable backpack. Especially when I used to commute, I needed that backpack to hold my computer, to hold my folders. You have a backpack that's gonna last you, that's not gonna break or tear, or it's not even gonna kill your back. I used to have one of those super bulky backpacks at the beginning. I bought it because they were saying it was good quality, but it might have been for hiking or something else because it was so heavy on its own, and when I put everything, it was just heavy, and I had a very heavy computer, and my commute was almost 2 hours each way. My back was killing me. Okay, I was always intensely stressed. But just having a nice light backpack that is compact. I carried on those backpacks that you could see, like it was like big at the back. I ended up switching to a compact bag that was better able to equip myself. So even when I put a lot of stuff in there, it still looked compact rather than one of those bags that you can like extend and extend. It does you no good except make your back hurt. And this was confirmed when there were some people on campus weighing people's backpacks so that they can, I guess, give them recommendations. My backpack weighed a lot, and they were like, yeah, this is way too much. And I was like, yeah, I know. Thank God that's over. The next thing I want to carry too is a small stapler, especially in high school and college, because if you're doing homework, doing all these things, you may just want something to staple your work together, and you may not have access to that in your classrooms, or one of those teachers who wants everything stapled. Just keep one in your backpack. It's really nice, it's really quick, they're inexpensive, they probably cost less than $3. You can even get some at the Dollar Tree for like $1.25. So just keep one of those, it comes in really handy. I will admit that if you buy the cheap ones, they do jam easily, but I did keep only about 2 during my entire college journey. Good quality to them for the price they are at. And the next thing is to have a planner. I love a physical planner. I don't remember the first time I got one, but it was definitely like in middle school, late middle school, early high school. And I used to get one of the big planners. I love the big planners. I sometimes switch to small planners as well. But I like to write down everything. The one that has a monthly calendar and also breaks it down into the daily calendars. I used to love those. I would write down everything because the human brain has the propensity to forget. You think you remember it, but you wouldn't. And I would schedule everything I was gonna do, everything I had to accomplish. I would schedule it in my planner. You can always get a digital planner as well. However, I just don't think they work as great for me as they could for other people. I love a physical calendar. You know, we're always on the phones and computers anyway. This is one time to take the book. I like to write it down. It reminds me to like do it. I open it easily. Sometimes I forget to open my calendar app. But with the physical book, I always take and I open it several times a day. I still keep a planner to this day, but I schedule each day and then I write. It just gives me more space. I love it. I keep it. But write down anything that's important. If you want to do your homework this time, I break down my homework as to what I'm doing today, tomorrow. Even if I'm starting a project, I always write down, remember to start this project, turning this homework, midterms, when things are due. Everything. Do not rely on your brain alone to remember. Most of us don't have photographic memories, and that's okay. Just make sure you help yourself by writing it down in a planner. So get a planner. Next is to get a reliable computer and technology. As you're going into college, you're going to be taking a lot of notes. You're going to be doing a lot of work on the computer that you're gonna have to print. In engineering, we use a lot of computer programs like MATLAB, Python. So we use a lot of IDEs for Python, C++, Model Sim installed on my computer. You want to make sure it is reliable and it is good. Sometimes you spend a little bit more, but if it lasts you a while longer than it otherwise would, it's worth the investment. Buying a computer every few years is expensive and tiring. So invest in one now. And I'm not saying get like everything maxed out to the highest degree, but look at your major. If you're doing something like engineering, you're gonna need a good amount of RAM on your computer. If you're gonna be running all of those programs, you need a larger RAM. You need more storage because even something like MATLAB can take up so much space on your computer. Ask somebody who's already majored in the degree what type of computer they would recommend. And a lot of time they will give you a good recommendation, something that they wish they had or something that really helped them in it. And if you're commuting, I would recommend that you get a lighter computer. The only thing you want to get is pepper spray, especially for all of my ladies out there. Get a pepper spray. If you go to a city school, a rural school, and you get something to protect yourself like a pepper spray. And here's why. Sometimes classes run late. First time my latest class was like 6:30, and during the summertime it's like okay, but during the winter time it gets darker earlier. So it's just one of those things. And then later my latest class ended at 7:30, and I was a commuter, and I had an over an hour commute back home. And even just walking around off campus, I was in the city because I went to a city school, and so the school has security, but the city doesn't always have security. So just making sure you keep a pepper spray on you. Some places may have laws with it and stuff like that, but I always just keep a can just in case. Coming close, like, whoo, stay away. So just have one on you. I know a lot of my friends had it. And the last but absolutely not the least is more of an advice rather than a supply, which is to just make sure that you protect your supplies and keep them well with your computers, your books. As you can see, I've had this for years, over 6 years now. And if you keep your stuff well, they last. So I wouldn't have to buy a folder every single year because I keep mine well. You can use them for a longer period of time. Make sure you keep track of them. Don't be one of those people who just keeps buying things and then losing them, because they can get really expensive quickly, especially since college is not cheap and it's not free. So make sure that you keep your supplies really well, take care of them, and then in the end, it will serve you for a long period of time. Now there are some other supplies I think could really help. I don't think they're like super needed, but I did want to just run up the list just to make sure that I covered those as well, because some of you may benefit from it. So they were just okay, not like my main supplies, so some of them I use them here and there, so I'm just going to read them off the list. So the first one is most textbooks. Actual professors, of course, if you need to buy a textbook. Now a lot of them are going online, so you have to buy like a code. I'm even doing that in my master's degree now. Like you buy the online book and code to like do work, which can get expensive, but make sure that if it's a physical book, you ask first and then source different places to buy. Next is a full notebook. Like I said, I don't really buy full notebooks anymore or use them as much. Even if I do, it's because I'm gonna take out the loose leaves so I can clip them in my folders. But you may just benefit from buying full notebooks. Next is a pencil or pen case. I've not really used that since like high school, but I do know that some people have the case. And if you're one of those people who really want to be organized, you can get a case for all of your little supplies, your pens, pencils, sharpeners, everything, and put them in there. Next is a 3-ring binder. If you did want to use it and put all of your classes into one binder, you can do that with divider. Next are sticky notes and index cards. I've used this off and on through my entire high school, college journey. They've been really beneficial one way or another. Sometimes I used to go over my notes during exam periods, and I would do like index cards, or I'll do sticky notes where I would like summarize like an entire page on a sticky note, or just something important I'll write there. So my review process is simpler rather than going through everything. Next is a calculator. The thing about engineering is that most of our classes didn't even let us use calculators. During calculus 1, 2, and 3, we couldn't use calculators. And so I had the TI-84 and I still have it somewhere. But even today, I'm not using calculators. So sometimes you maybe benefit from using online calculators. That's something that could help during your major and if it's allowed during class. But I do know that most of my classes did not allow it, officially on exams especially. Next is a water bottle. Get yourself a good water bottle that you can use around campus. I always think that it's more beneficial than buying water because the buying water can be expensive. They do have the water fountains there, but if you're in class, you don't want to be getting out of class every time you see the water fountain. That's benefited me so much. Next are binder clips or paper clips. Didn't use them too much, but I do think they can be helpful depending on what type of programs and projects you're doing. Now next is a 3-hole punch. I actually had one because in my classes I would have to draw some stuff on printing paper, and then I'll just like punch a hole and then slip it in, rather than have it all over the place. Or sometimes you use a piece of paper that does not have a punch in it, or you know, you do a project and you just want to put in your binders, folders. It just keeps everything organized. And my last advice is don't get too excited and buy like everything all at once when you start college, or you know, the whole back to school. You may not need everything. You don't need everything. So find out what is specific to you and then buy those. Always ask questions to your teachers and professors. Ask previous students what you actually need. So always ask those questions. It will save you a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of stress. So thank you so much for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and leave in the comment section what are some supplies that really help you throughout your educational journey. Whether it's high school, college, master's degree, PhD, you have to do the work overall, but there are things that can really help bring down the stress and your stress level. So let me know in the comment section. I'm so happy to read your comments. And remember that college and education on itself is not easy, but there's some things that just help. So don't go too hard on yourself. Take care of yourself, and remember that you are learning, you are growing, and there's a benefit and a purpose to all of this. And remember to ring the notification bell because I post 2 videos a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. Come on over and I'll see you in the next one.